Listening to another Israel Dangers Unqualified rant, where I'm gonna rant some shit at you guys in an unqualified fashion. So yeah, I listened to Elon Musk's press conference where he was talking about some of the future plans for SpaceX, and one of the things that he brought up was the current process with which we launch satellites and how it's inefficient and stupid, and how SpaceX could bring a change, a lowering of costs, and an iterative nature to experiments in space. So yeah, long story short, he was talking about putting the ability to put satellites into space in the hands of a larger set of people than currently where it's at. In addition to that, though, there's CubeSat, which is like a small satellite. There's a bunch of different projects trying to put an Android smartphone into space, and not actually putting an Android smartphone into space, and actually working with how that software can be used to facilitate all kinds of different experiments up there. But long story short, it's really just a broader subset of people entering into the extra planetary arena. But that said, that a lot of I talk to people about it all the time. They're always like, "Oh yeah, so like it's this is just like globalization gone crazy." And I keep on trying to explain to people that it's not. This isn't just like more of the same. That what it is an expression, like everything, like what I think a lot of the broader social changes you're seeing in the world right now are due to a strengthening of an empowerment of the individual, but not necessarily just like you can do whatever you want, because like people talk about that all the time, but in the sense of like 20 years ago, I would have had to like hire. If I wanted to start a business, I would have had to hire like an accountant for sure. I'd have had to have an accountant. Probably need to get a lawyer to like do some paperwork for me and shit. I don't know. You need extra people. You'd be hiring people to do all kinds of shit. Today, you know what I mean? If I wanted to start a business, I can go and have my entire accounting, all of my payroll, all of my taxes, all of everything done for me online for less than hiring an accountant for like 2 hours a month. All done in the cloud, redundant, backed up, and persistent, right? My entire back end I can do that with. As far as my front end, though, like today, we're not necessarily at a point where we can like we're manufacturing anything is in the hands of the individual, but we have 3D printing right now, and 3D printing as a process is old as fuck anyways. It's like 30 or 40 years old, and in addition to that, there's also CNC and other reductive processes for 3D printing, but that said, you can get a pretty good 3D printer for like $500, $600 right now. And you can get a baller-ass 3D printer for like $3,000. So, like, again, it's an instance where the individual is empowered to do things that you needed groups of people to do 30 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, to be honest with you, like 10 years ago. A lot of these things are... A lot of why so much social change is happening and so rapidly all around the world is that these technologies pop up out of nowhere and then allow for a landslide in a society. For instance, think about what Tinder's done in our society, where it kind of so 40 years ago, it wasn't like people wanted to fuck less, right? You know what I mean? 40 years ago, it wasn't like, man, fucking's for suckers. I'm trying to play some more Jenga. You know what I mean? Nobody was saying that. It's stupid. People are trying to fuck just as much then as they are now. It's just that instead of... Well, I guess what Tinder kind of does is like... it's like if you hired a dating counselor to meet all of your friends, and then meet a bunch of other them motherfuckers around you, and then like be like, yo, what do you think of these people? Let's hold up pictures, and then let you just throw them to the ground real quick into piles of I'd fuck them or not. And then that person like goes to like the people you'd fuck and does like stuffs your pictures into like as decoy, like, you know, a bunch of decoys. You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole process. You got somebody, like, this is a whole thing you would have had to get a whole bunch of extra people to do. You just do it in 2 seconds with that. And most of that 2 seconds is looking to see whether or not you'd fuck the person. That really just does the whole thing instantly. But it's like, I don't know, like, you can find a whole bunch of different instances. Drone technology is another one where, like, being able to do surveillance, like, high level, crystal clear, badass surveillance, fucking, I don't know, 30 years ago, you needed like a fucking SR-71 or something like that, you know what I mean? Or I guess you could do it with a satellite, but not like Butler, you know what I mean? Today, right now, I mean, you can go buy a drone for $500 and slap a GoPro on it and have it and have 4K video. But there's actually a fucking ballin' ass entire system that's the fucking drone with modular cameras or other powered devices on board. So the payload is modular. It comes with a 4K camera. Motherfucker runs for like a half an hour and has fucking swappable batteries. Fucking comes with all the fucking standard shit, GPS, fucking waypoint marking, fucking return home, all that extra shit. Motherfucker's $3,000 fucking dollars, and you can pull 4K video out of the fucking sky, stabilized 4K video with like a professional gimbal and everything, all part of the fucking system. Like I know I'm going off on that, but I'm saying like that system, you know what I mean? What do you think a fucking a Global Hawk is doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's higher up and like it's more badass, and I guess you can put weapon systems on it and shit. But really, you're just trying to image some shit on the ground. You can pay $3,000 and just fly a little bit closer. This motherfucker shoot it out the sky. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? This fucking streaming 4K video. Like, you know what I mean? Like, me personally, myself, can have an entire like surveillance apparatus, just me, just by myself. I can do that. You know what I mean? There's also but like we can go into each different area where and talk about how the individual is being empowered in each area. You can talk about it in energy. You can talk about it in all kinds of different fucking contexts. But all of that is just part of a broader trend of the empowerment of the individual. And in that empowerment, I think that's what, like, in that empowerment, our society really has to start asking itself some really honest questions. Like, in that empowerment, you have the ability for those dudes in Boston, you know what I mean? Where they use the internet to, whereas to do what they did, I guess 30 years ago, I keep on using like that time frame, but I mean a while ago, not that long ago, you know what I mean? To do what they did, you would have had to been trained somewhere, or maybe like known somebody who knew about some shit that you could read in a book that you might be able to find at some library. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you just go 15 minutes, man, I'm gonna go do this, and then 15 minutes later be ready to do it. You know what I mean? But like, not saying that it took them 15 minutes in Boston to come up with their plan and do the whole thing. I'm just saying like. Shooters, people who go into like public places and shoot places up. That's another like example of it. I mean, obviously, it's technology has less to do with that, and it's more of just an example of the sick people in our society. But these sick people in our society are also empowered, just like the rest of us. More so in this new age that we live in. You got to think about it. There's shooters who like those guys are like crazy. I'm gonna go shoot up the place. But there's also other crazy people, tinfoil hat motherfuckers that be sitting in their houses thinking that fucking the government's out to get them. Got fucking, but I don't know, won the lottery or were kind of fucking or developed an app that made some money. You know what I mean? Just sitting in their fucking house, agoraphobic as fuck, talking about, but I'm gonna watch everybody in my neighborhood. Got drones out there, got spy cameras strapped up all around their spot. They're hacked and reading everybody's Wi-Fi networks and fucking packet sniffing to fucking crack their fucking Cause man, I'm sure there's dudes out there going to the extreme in all kinds of different areas. It's just that, like we just went through, surveillance is one area where you can go pretty fucking far as an individual, just one person. Whereas a while ago, it was harder for just one person to go to a certain point. I mean, honestly, even the fucking like Timothy McVeigh in the Oklahoma City bombing, like there were other people involved. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like he just woke up one day and decided to do it. But flip side of that being though, today that could happen. A dude could just decide to do that this morning, and then this afternoon could be a tragedy. And I think that, I mean, I'm pretty sure, isn't that what happened to the dude in California who like chopped up his fucking roommates and then like drove down the street, was like running people over, whatever the fuck that dude. And, yeah, I don't remember. Anyways, crazy ass people. But yeah, I don't want to get stuck on the point of like crazy ass people so much. It's not really what I wanted to talk about. Anyways, mainly what I was talking about though is what I wanted to talk about was this sea change in society that we're seeing as the individual is empowered, and we're having to ask ourselves, what does that say about us as a society? For instance, another really good example. 100 years ago, if you wanted to like be a farmer and grow some shit, you would have to have some fucking land and grow some shit, you know what I mean? But today, a person can go buy some grow lights and blah, 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 and grow fucking better agricultural products in their basement. You know what I mean? Again, as an individual. And so, if that's true, then should there be any restriction on what a person as an individual can do within their own home that's not doing anything that has no effects outside of the home beyond, I guess, normal energy usage or resource usage. And in that, can you tell somebody how to use their resources? But that's what I'm saying. Like, as the individual becomes more and more empowered, it becomes less and less understandable, or there's less and less of an argument for why we maintain certain social orders. Again, we went down a whole list of them. I'm definitely down for still like saying, yeah, man, you can't be going blowing stuff up, shooting people, doing all kinds of violent shit. No, but the last one I went over was just growing some shit in your basement. Let's say just growing weed in your basement. When you have in situations where the individual where the power rests with the group, you know what I mean? It's easier for the group just to force its will on the individual, i.e. it's easier for people to say, you can't smoke weed, no smoking weed around here, you can't use none of the resources from around here to grow weed, you can't do none of that shit, period. End of sentence, and I can stop you from doing it. That's, you know what I mean, an example of the fucking group enforcing its will on an individual. But what if what happens in this paradigm when the group can't stop the individual? What happens in this paradigm where we're not talking about whether somebody should or shouldn't, you're talking about whether or not somebody can be prevented from or not doing a thing. And what happens when the answer is no, you can't prevent somebody from doing it. Again, marijuana is one of those examples. You can't stop, like, people are going to smoke weed. There is no credible scheme for putting a permanent end to the use of marijuana on the planet Earth. It doesn't exist because people want to do it, and obviously, people have been growing weed forever, and so even under less empowered regimes, it's impossible to stop people from smoking weed. You know what I mean? Growing, selling, and smoking weed. But what happens but the questions we have. That's a question that's been apparent, that's been around forever, but in a system where it's becoming less and less, where the society has less and less ability to even punish people for growing, selling or consuming weed, in that it's like it's hard as fuck to find somebody like, if somebody smoked weed today, you know what I mean? In the country, you go out and find every person. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard as fuck to find. Like, once it's done, it's done. You know what I mean? what happens when it's essentially impossible to stop that entire process or impact that entire process as a society? You know what I mean? In that, like, Lockheed Martin has a project where they're gonna have a fusion power plants the size of fucking semis or some shit, right? And be around about 2020 or 2030 or something like that. Which is not where I was going, but that could provide really cheap, next to free energy, forever for everybody around. Yeah, you know what I mean? If that happens, right, and you can buy LED lights out just for buying them, and it's a plant, it grows wild in places. It essentially isn't the growth, sale, and consumption of of marijuana wouldn't impact, or wouldn't be impacted by, rather, a whole host of different things in society that the state or the representation of the society as a whole uses to enforce its collective will. If I'm not using, if you can't stop me from, if you can't stop the power from going to it, you can't stop the power in the water, if you can't stop the cultivation, if you can't stop the packaging and distribution, and if you can't stop the consumption, should there be, like, if it's not possible to do those things, should we have laws that exist that do those, that seek to do those things? In that, I'm asking, should we have laws against smoking weed if in 10 years it's literally impossible to stop anybody, or even know if anybody is growing, selling, or consuming marijuana? Should we have fucking laws against fucking should we have laws against calling dudes daddy when you fuck them? You know what I mean? You can't enforce that. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? If I tell every girl in the world to call me daddy before she fucks me, there's nobody in the world, unless they're in the room or listening, which is weird. It's gonna stop that. So, you know. Anyways, that's the question I'm asking. Fucking circuitous ass fucking way of getting to here to ask it and shit, but here we are, motherfucking 17 minutes and shit into this 17, almost 18 minutes into this motherfucker. It sounds like I'm drinking beer right now. I'm actually not. I'm drinking a delicious chill soda, I think. It says CS on it, and I know that doesn't stand for computer science. Super chill. Oh, yeah, it's a super chill ginger ale. You guys should, I don't know whose this is, but you guys should send me more of this. Like 1 million of it. Or something, I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. Really, I got onto this subject. I was sitting here thinking about it. The Elon Musk thing kind of was the catalyst, but I've been mulling this in my head for a while, that this is kind of like the if fourth generation warfare is a blurring between the lines of politics, economics, and warfare, is it possible to describe that paradigm from the age that immediately precedes it? In that, I think that, like, people are stuck in this construct, their mind construct of, like, oh man, this is just like the 80s, it's just like the 70s. I remember when this happened in the 60s, and people are like, it's not. I'm trying to tell people, man. We try to tell people all the time. It's not like that. It's not like nothing that's ever happened before. The internet makes everything different. 100% everything different. It's not just the internet, but the internet by itself makes everything 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts, 100% different. You can't argue anything different than that, other than that. So to argue that this is like just like some other time that's existed, no, it's fucking not. Not when I can talk to every single person on the planet instantly. if me and everybody on the planet wanted to talk to each other. You know what I mean? I just read a fucking article on CNET. Is stupid. I'm indulgent sometimes, but anyways, is our favorite or what we want to see in the iPhone 7, right? And one of the things, though, I know, you get it out. Tell me how much I know. Let's get all those thoughts about how stupid I am and all that extra shit out. Come on, get it out. I know it myself. But anyways, one of the things was NFC on the iPhone. And, yeah, I don't know, I forgot what I was talking about. But, other shit. I guess that's just gonna start happening. When I forget what the fuck I'm talking about, that's the end of the podcast. Boom. America, USA, you heard it here first. Karate Jack. Supernism. Also, don't forget, check out Hi Artists, HIIARTISTS .tumblr.com. That is our freaking Tumblr site, and you should go there and check it out. Also, if you check out Hi Store, HIISTORE, .tumblr.com, that's actually our store. You can get a bunch of our different t-shirts, like the fucking by any dabs necessary. That's the tightest one. But yeah, you got a bunch of t-shirts, so you can check them out. And yeah, that's it, man. So fucking check back with us fucking tomorrow. We'll probably have some more content up for you. Also, check our fucking Tumblrs out, because we got hella motherfucking cool ass shit up on them. But yeah, other than that, man, I'll holler at y'all later. 100.